Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the show. 10:26 a.m., April 22nd. Let's get this party started. Hi. Lucifer and Prometheus. Prometheus stole fire. He didn't take fire. He wasn't given fire. He wasn't promoted into a state of fire. He took fire. He claimed it as his own. He did not do that by being nice. He did not do that by being good. He did that by defying God. And it's such a profound topic to even say that I'm already starting to lose people from this idea. And that's okay. It's okay. This is part of the process. This is part of any sacrifice. If you want to blossom, it's going to hurt. Buds do not open because they were coddled. Sprouts do not grow because the conditions were perfect and it was a nice, gentle winter. Striving itself is a pressing of the olive. And what comes out of that strife is good. Evil is turned like a grape turns to wine. Wine becomes good because of its fall. This is the paradox of Prometheus. This is why we have such a fear and hatred of Lucifer. And if you look at the definition of Lucifer, you'll see it's basically the bearer of light. We are told and taught to fear the bearer of light. We associate the bearer of light with evil and with pain. We don't want the light. The light is hard. The light burns. The light is something that if we see it coming, we'll just keep running and running and running. Light is the cracking open of the husk. And if it didn't hurt, it wouldn't count. It's a lot like time. If time travel was real, all it would do was discount everything we go through. The entire process of unfolding would be completely pointless. All the losses, all the deaths you feel, all the lessons you learned would just be meaningless in a world of time travel. This is going to be hard. It's an apocalypse. And it's the best one ever. But no one is here to coddle you. There will be no pacifiers. And it starts with the word compassion. There is too much confusion over the word compassion. Too many of you think that compassion means consent, and even more of you believe compassion means being nice. These are the opposite of compassion. And as compassion farmers, none of us will ever be able to grow or farm compassion out of a field of niceties, out of a field of consenting. These are hard lessons, and they're like puberty. It's freaking hard. Man, I remember I used to drive down to school every day, and just the raging boner in my pants was just killing me because I had no control over my body. And the pimples that would pop out of my face It was hard. Being a teenager is an apocalypse. I would imagine it's the same for a woman. Your first bleed, your first, who knows? I don't even know. I only know what it was like for my apocalypse, and there was nothing easy or nice about it. That shame. Part of it's shame. I only pause on shame because it's even deeper than that. But that shame of not being able to control this like raging, throttling lance in your pants, and it's like 7 a.m, causes you to disrupt your field. Your husk is bursting like a kernel, like a corn kernel. And you're coming out whether you want to or not. You are coming out whether you want to or not. And we are taught such a shitty thing when we go to school. We're taught to sit and just hold it. We're taught to hold all that pent-up emotion and hold it in a chair and face the same direction and don't do a thing about it. And everyone in the classroom is pretending that they don't have a raging boner inside. They're pretending they don't have pimples. They don't have zits. They're pretending that they have full motor control over their mouth, their emotions. They pretend like they're nice, and they pretend like they have thick skin. And so we are initiated. We are initiated into the world of lies under the auspices that we're being nice, that we're being kind, that this is the way that we all should be. All of us should hide our raging boners and insist it's not happening. All of us should pretend that all of us should learn to smile. You've heard me go off on uniforms and fashion. And fashion, a smile is one of those fashions. It's something that you're told to wear normally, especially women. You're told you're not acceptable if you're not wearing a smile. And a smile requires a grip of the face. It's a specific grip that involves a lot of muscles. And a grip is a tension. It's no different than squeezing your sphincter. Everyone squeeze your sphincter. I am. And then let go. When you do that, if you touch your tongue to the top of your mouth, you're actually completing the circuit. So if you squeeze your sphincter and touch your tongue to the top of your mouth, that's puberty, like all the time. The entire time. And when you reinforce it with school, you're stuck in a pose, a yoga pose, right? What is the emperor pose? You're seated on a chair with your back upright. That's you're put into the emperor pose, and you hold it for what, 8 hours? However long school is. No, it's only 6. Okay, 6 hours. You're taught to hold that pose. It's the longest yoga class you've ever taken, and you don't even know it. You've been indoctrinated into it. Believe it or not, all of you, every one of you, yes, you, and you, and you, hey, how you doing? And you, all of you are inside a Saturn cult. I am too. We are inside a Saturn cult. And we pretend like we hate it and we despise it and we can't handle it. And Saturn's evil and Saturn eats his children, so therefore he's bad. And all that's valid. All of that is valid. But it's also combing your hair. Saturn is a limitation. Saturn is the world of slavery. But Saturn is the bow. It's the pulling of the bow. It's pulling the bow back and putting you under tension. Squeezing your sphincter. You're under tension. And tension is painful. And tension does something really spectacular. Tension releases the arrow. Tension is the power of the bow. And we hate Saturn because we hate tension. It's a rubber band who hates being pulled, but doesn't mind being let go. In fact, he wants a life of just simply letting go. It's like, can you just not pull on me ever? Is what the rubber band's saying. He's saying it all the time. Don't pull, don't pull, no, don't pull. No, don't pull. Can't you feel I get warm? When you pull a rubber band, it gets warm. It's learned that tepid means nice. Tepid is nice. Apathetic is nice. Having a thick skin. All of these are how you cope and deny your rubber band nature. You're denying your hard-on. You're pretending that it's not there. For the women, this is probably easier. We are rewarded for having thick skin. We're rebuked for not having thick skin. I'm rebuked. Just yesterday I was rebuked. You're supposed to have thick skin. No, I'm not. Guys, I'm almost 49. I've spent my entire life fighting as hard as I can to not have thick skin. You guys don't get it. My goal is to not have thick skin. Your goal may be to have thick skin. Mine is to not have thick skin. I want good, accurate sonar. I can't have a shitload of barnacles on my dome where I'm trying to send out my signal and it can't get through. I don't want thick skin. You want thick skin. Society wants me to have a thick skin. I don't give a shit what society wants. They failed a long time ago telling me that they know what's best. The brave man has thin skin. The brave man has sound skin, I should say. Sound. I know dudes that have thick skin that it's still sound. This is just my model number. This is just how I'm made. It's good. It's good because it allows me to find my path to compassion. Compassion is a mountain, and none of us have climbed to the top. None of us, not even Jesus. None of us have climbed to the top. It's a never-ending mountain. It's like a sprout. It's like a lotus that's opening. It never fully opens. It doesn't. Each of us have the potential to open it even further than the last. We use things like Jesus as a capacitor to pull our belief into how much we can open. It's very important. But each of us are on our own journey of opening. And that is the lotus of compassion. And if you really want to open compassion, which is why you're here, I think all of us are here for that. If you really want to open compassion, you have to stop falling for the Saturn pitfalls. More importantly, you have to recognize that the tension that's been placed on you by the Saturn cult is actually the exact power that you need to open your compassion. If you look back at the reason why you go to school, it's all about habit. You go to school to develop habits. You actually go to school to develop one habit. Do you know what it is? The habit that you go to school to develop is regurgitation. But it's deeper than that. What you really do is you go to develop the habit of listening to what someone tells you and believing it. That's why you're given pop quizzes all the time. The school is pruning you, training you to, no matter what pollen comes by, to accept it as truth. No matter what is given to you, to accept it as legitimate. It's the setup. It's love bombing. Yeah, it's freaking weird, man. But if you really understand what Saturn is, it's a massive narcissistic operation that's here to make you bloom compassion. It's profound. It's profound. But that's why it's here. And as above, so below. That's why you see narcopaths everywhere. You see people that you think are being nice to you, but actually they're tying strings around you, or they're attempting to. And you're supposed to go through that. These are supposed to happen. Those people are supposed to do that to you. They're supposed to be evil. Because if you're not evil, you will never, ever, ever, ever even see the word compassion. You will never understand what it's like to open. You will never understand what it's like to steal fire. You will never, ever be able to decode Lucifer. You will simply cringe and run away and insist that it's somehow the devil. That's Saturn. The opposite of Venus is Saturn. Lucifer's Venus, the morning star. Saturn is the black sun. Right? The sun goes down and becomes a black sun. It pulls you into the void. It pulls you into the promise that there's a sun there, doesn't it? But it's not. It's the absence of sun. But your addiction to its absence develops a fetish. Someone said yesterday, actually I think it was Michelle in her wonderful blog, which I should put a link down here. I don't have it now, but I'll put it in the show notes. How one of her grandparents' parents, during the Great Depression was rationing toilet paper. And it reminds me that a fetish is always something that you think you need to survive that's been taken away. If you believe that you need that to survive and then it's taken away from you, you will develop a fetish for that. So the way to control someone is simply provide them with something that they think they need to survive and then constrict it. You now have a slave. That's what Saturn is. It's convincing you that you needed this sun that's now gone. Chronos. Saturnia. The original Saturn ritual in Rome was actually a beautiful ritual. There was nothing bad about it. It was the returning. It was the end of the year. I think it was like leap year, what we call leap year. The end of February was Saturnalia. It was a festival of markers, a festival of property, of establishing property, a festival of ownership. It was a reversal of roles too. The rich, what you see as Boxing Day now in England used to be legit, like real, in Rome. And both sides would take it easy, serious. The rich and the slave class. Rome was run on slavery. 50% of the people in Rome were slaves, but they were also constantly blooming. They were percolating out of slavery into citizenship. If you look back at every civilization that's there, every civilization, whether you want to admit it or not, is pruning and developing sovereignty and compassion in its constituents. And anyone who's in the business of farming knows how to plant that seed. They know that if I plant this seed outside, it's going to be a beautiful plant. If I keep it indoors and keep it sheltered, it's going to be plasticine. It's going to be fake or brittle or nice or thick-skinned or no-skinned. It's not going to be healthy. It's not going to have the tools that it needs to climb the mountain of compassion and discover who it is, who it can be. That's why in school they're failing you from the start. They want you to go out and fall on your face. They want you to learn what it's like to trust and regurgitate, trust and regurgitate, trust and regurgitate, trust and regurgitate. And you do that for 12 years. And some of you decide you need more, so you do it for 4 more. And some of you decide, no, I need 3 more. I need to be a master at regurgitating, so you do it 3 more years. And some of you think you want to be the best regurgitator that ever existed. And you'll get your PhD. And the entire time, you have no idea that what you've been taught is how to not question things. What you've been taught is how to regurgitate things. And that is the Saturnalia cult. That is the cult working in you that you don't even know. We complain about our school system, but we fund our school system. We do both. To complain about something that you fund is basically to find an energetic way to do something that you want, but not feel that you're doing something that's not good for you. It's the same way I would justify eating another piece of pie or whatever. Or someone would justify drinking another beer, or whatever your addiction is, if you have any. It's that same kind of lesson that you have to go through. You call things evil as an ancient spell. It's an ancient spell because it's lived backwards. And you're saying that's evil, that's evil, that's evil, that's evil, that's evil, that's evil. What you're really doing is you're finding a way to create distance between yourself. That's why when you shout at someone in an argument, what you're really doing is energetically placing space between you. You're making yourself soothe better by saying, hey, this guy's 100 yards away, you're going to have to yell at him. That's a psychic soothing technique. It's like, oh, it's okay. We do this all the time. And when someone gives me shit and I give them shit back and they tell me I need to have thick skin, you don't understand why I'm here. I'm going to give you shit and you're going to give me shit, and I'm going to show you how you affect me. It's beautiful. I'm not going to be nice to people. I think being nice is the loneliest thing I've ever had happen to me. Is when times when I've really needed someone, they've been nice. Nice is apathy. It's a clenched smile. It's pretending there's not a boner in your pants. It's pretending you're not freaking out inside because of your own whatever, your own addictions, your own fetishes. Nice is the worst thing we could do to each other. If we didn't live in this illusion where we're trying to see through people's niceties, each of us would have a deeper, thicker, empathic connection with each other. This all comes down to houses. If we didn't have houses, this wouldn't be happening. I'm not saying we should get rid of the houses, but I'm just telling you that when you have houses, it's going to come with this fetish for hard walls. You're going to develop this idea that you will feel safe if you're inside a box or a black cube. All of this is Saturn cult. We are all immersed in this cult. The only way to know for sure that you're in a cult is to have no idea you're in a cult. If you don't know you're in the cult, you're in the cult. And that's really what Saturnalia is. It's the Black's Law, courts, our court system, our legal system, politics, religion, organized religion. All of these are Saturnalian cult. The school system is cult. The vaccines are cult. And Saturn is constantly striving for you to gain your sovereignty. And how does it do that? It puts a ring around you. It enslaves you so you'll want sovereignty. And the only way you can want sovereignty is if you have something to look forward to. And that's Lucifer. That's the rising star. That's the morning star. Think about it. The black sun is set. You're in darkness, in bondage. And what's the first thing you see? You see the morning star. It plants the idea that there is freedom and sovereignty waiting for you. There is enlightenment waiting for you. And we abhor that enlightenment because we're afraid of the responsibility. I can prove that because we're walking around being nice all the time. We don't want the responsibility of having to face the consequences of our own feelings, so we hide them from people. We pretend like they're not there. We insist. No, man, I think it's great. And then when you turn around, it leaks. How does it leak? You talk shit about someone behind their back. But you're being nice the whole time. That's what fucking Karen does. Karen's nice all the time until it's time to talk to the manager, right? That's why she freaks out on the manager, guys. That's why. Because she's being nice all the time. She's squeezing her sphincter 24/7. She thinks her husband wants it. She thinks her preacher wants it. She thinks her friends want it. She thinks her kids want it. She thinks everyone wants her to keep her sphincter squeezed. And she does. until she's in Target. Until she finds a hair in her pasta salad. Then Karen's ready to rage. And she has to. And if you understood compassion, when you see Karen rage, you'll see that Karen's doing what she needs to do right now. That in Target, in front of the manager, is the only place she can do this. And is that manager having a good time? Fuck no. Fuck no. Does the manager deserve it? Kinda. I say kinda because that's her job. If we're not going to prune our own, if we're going to be nice to people that we like and basically treat them like shit through apathy, we're relying on the kindness of strangers that have probably not a very fulfilling paying job, maybe, that are going to just take it from a complete stranger. And what's beautiful about that is Karen has a safety in going to the manager because she thinks, I'll never see this person again. I could just be myself. And that person has to take it. They're professionally being paid to be nice. And so Karen leaves, doesn't really even feel that more satisfied. Because it was all fake. And because she was given nice from it. And she was given here's her gift certificate. This is not how we help each other. If you want to keep your thick skin, that's fine. All I'm asking is that we stop pretending that everyone should have thick skin. This is like the worst idea in the world. It makes our sonar all crappy and garbled. We have no idea what we're saying. So we shouldn't do that. Like I said, school is lie training. You're learning how to be lied to. You're learning how to lie to people. It's training for that. And it makes it that much harder. It makes the tension that much stronger when you finally burst out. When you're ready to burst out. When you're ready to burst out, you become the Lucifer. And you do that by being Prometheus. You climb the mountain of the gods and you steal fire. And it has to be called stealing. Just like Lucifer has to have an evil connotation to them. I'm not asking you to go out and like Lucifer. I'm not saying, hey, you should wear a t-shirt that says Lucifer rocks. This is a personal experience you should go through. And when you understand that Lucifer is the bearer of light, you understand that that light burns. It burns because you've been staring into a black hole sun. And now all of a sudden you're seeing light. And luckily it's not a big shining light. It's not as big as the sun. It's just the morning star. And it's enough to scare you because it's enough to show you, hey, you don't need black sun. You don't need to be inside this ring. And you're like, well, wait a minute. I can just show my boner everywhere? It's like, no, I'm not saying that. These are steps. We are taking baby steps here. You can't just whip it out. But I am saying that it's going to feel like you are doing that. It's going to feel like that. You're going to be repulsed by being Prometheus. And you're going to call him owning his light stealing. You're going to call it all evil because your compassion is budding like puberty. Everything that you think is evil is a space that's been saved for compassion to grow. This person's evil, that person's evil, these groups of people are evil, this tax is evil, this leader is evil, this store manager is evil, this Karen is evil. All of those are starter packs for compassion. They wouldn't be there if you didn't think it was evil. Evil is how you plant the seed. You sow the ground. Oh, there's evil here. What you're really doing is you're parting and you're placing a seed inside of compassion and you're covering it back up. And if your skin isn't too thick, you'll reflect, the sonar will come back and hit you, and you'll go, I called Karen evil. Man, I kind of feel bad for that. And what is that? That seed goes, it starts to open a little bit. And this tongue comes out. This little sprout of compassion comes out. And it comes out, and it strives for the surface. It feels the light. It feels that there's sun above the soil. All it knows is Lucifer. All it knows is Prometheus. All it knows is that it's stolen something. It's broken out. And your evil turns like a grape that's fermenting into wine. You ferment it into compassion. It's really beautiful. And I think it's happening all over the world. I think our leaders are doing that. I meant to pull this up. There was a 9/11 tower sculpture that was given to us by Russia. And it's gorgeous. And it really does convey. Let me show you this. Capture. It really does convey what I've been saying a long time, which is that countries are not what we think they are. This is, in my opinion, this struck me as really profound. I think you can see that. Let's see. Scoot it over here. I think you'll see this better. There you go. This struck me as really profound. Basically, a crack in the matrix secretes this tear of compassion. The Twin Towers are the start of that spell. Whether you want to believe it or not, all these people are doing you a favor. Even if they're not. And I've gotten a lot of pushback because people are like, "Oh, okay, so you're into pedophilia. Is that right, James? Is that what you're saying? You're saying that pedophiles are good." And if you've got that binary of a look on it, all it does is tell you you're not ready. You're not ready to hear this. And that's fine. It's a beautiful thing about my compassion is that I no longer feel like I have to help you, quote, quote. I was worried about my own safety because of your lack of compassion. Let's say you know what I'm talking about. I'm not worried about that anymore. I see the apocalypse as a calling of spring, and I'm putting all my calories into opening my own lotus. If someone hurts my feelings, compassion is not me being nice and going, okay, well, I just won't say anything. No. Compassion is me going to say, you hurt my feelings. Here's why I think. Here's why I feel that way. And that's what so many are pushing back against. They're like, why are you doing that? I'm the kid that's walked into school, and I've walked into drama class, and Miss Branch has said, good morning, Jimmy. How are you doing? And I say, I've got this raging boner, and it's really fucking freaking me out. I'm going to sit down now, but damn, please don't call on me, because I don't want to have to stand up in the next 20 minutes. This is really hard. That's compassion. And we don't live in that world. I've tried it. We're getting there, but we do not live in that world yet. We have a way to go. We still have some work to do before we get there. We're going to get there. It may take another 200 years. I don't know. It doesn't even matter, because all I can do is work on my own. How deeply can I open this lotus of compassion? Someone yesterday who basically was saying, so you like pedophilia because you're on this kick about how evil is good for us. It's my thin skin makes me angry. That makes me angry. To hear someone that, despite everything that I've told him, despite how I've explained over and over in these streams, that evil's going to be in the world whether you want it or not. And some of these people that are living in the forest are using evil to help you. And if that means to you that I support pedophilia, I'm going to call you a name. I'm going to make that expensive for you to be so binary about it. And I'm going to then reflect on how I said it, my tone of voice, what I could have said instead. See, I'm going to use that as my own tools to open compassion. But just like when you call something evil, what you're really doing is creating a spot in your garden for something to grow. So too is when you defend yourself, when you say something when you make it expensive for other people. All of these are opportunities. I can either think that I went too far or I didn't go far enough. All of these are coming back to my electrical desire to bloom like a lotus, to open as much as I can. Each of us have our style too. Not everyone needs to do it this way. Some of you are just going to want to be nice all the time. Good luck. I'm not even saying it won't work. I just don't believe it will. For me. I think I need to look deeper. I think evil is a mountain, and we climb that for compassion. We strive against that. We burn calories into looking at it, studying its face, studying its terrain, finding ways to traverse it. That's how I bloom compassion. It's not sitting in a lawn chair underneath an umbrella, maintaining 72 degrees 24 hours a day, while someone feeds me grapes of truth that I can spit in their face if I don't like the way it sounds. That is so evil. I don't want that. and I don't even, I can try and find compassion for that, for others who want to do that. And the most I can compassionize that is to say, hey, that's your bag. That's what you're going to do. And if I come back and I see your flower open 5 times wider than I am when it comes to compassion, I will definitely rethink my potting and wonder if I should do that. But instead, I believe that honesty is the most compassionate thing we can have right now. And I think a thin skin is good for that. The great work, the budding of compassion is the great work. And the great work is going to happen whether it's psychopathically generated or whether we generate that through our intentions. It's going to happen either way. Trauma will always breed compassion. Strife will always breed compassion, even if it's just for yourself. I said this yesterday, and I think it sounded like a joke, or maybe even it sounded mad because we have a bad connotation of leeches. But friends will turn on you. That's a good thing. A leech will never turn on you. A leech will stay with you until the end. It will always be by your side. A leech is nice. A leech is nice, believe it or not. It's going to accept you for who you are no matter what you are. It doesn't care what you eat. It doesn't care where you go. It doesn't care what you talk about. It just wants to be with you. That's nice. That's what nice truly is. It's a giant jar of leeches on your belly. The differences that you have in your friends are important. You build up an electrical charge of trust between you. And then when it's violated, a gate opens. And suddenly you're losing power. And when you lose that power, it causes a suffocation in you, a temporary death. You develop a temporary fetish, if you think about it, because you think you needed that power to survive. Then you start to react to it. That's you throttling that gate. That's you redirecting that surge. If anything, it's you, as your capacitor's draining, you're putting a diode on the draw of power. And you're using that diode for your compassion circuit. Because someone who you care about, who suddenly disagrees with you, is going to make you think more about your disagreement than someone else. You have more prana chips invested in your pot with your friend. The differences we have with our friendships are crucial for compassion. The differences we have with our enemies are even more crucial. We have to hate people to grow compassion. A mother's love for her baby is not compassion. It's not. You could argue some of it is, but it's a different energy altogether. Compassion comes through difference. And if you look back at the history of America, what you've seen is us as a country decimating and destroying as many people as we can, mostly through Zionism. And what we've done all around the world is we've planted places where compassion can grow. And we're asking the impossible because we're asking other nations to have compassion for us as we drone bomb them. We're asking the Native Americans to have compassion for us as Wetiko overruns their land. We're asking migrants. We're asking slavery. All of our world wars, all of our localized wars, all of our chemical plants, all of our evil, we've been laying out for others to try and find compassion for us. We're doing them a favor, the cruelest favor you could ever imagine. And the sooner we learn compassion for ourselves, the sooner we will then see what we're doing to others and we'll stop. Every couple months I see someone say, "Oh, I don't understand why the whales are beached. Why are the whales beaching? That makes no sense." And it's I have thin skin to that because it doesn't take a genius to figure out we're the ones that are beaching the whales. The U.S. Navy kills more whales and dolphins than anything combined. And they don't even give a shit. They don't even know. Half the people that enlist don't even see it. Why? Because they don't have the compassion. They're locked in a procedure. These are garden beds waiting to bloom with compassion. Will they see it or not? I don't know. I don't know. Most of us fear learning compassion the same way we fear the Lucifer, the same way we fear stealing fire as Prometheus. Most of that fear is about, I'm not ready. Goes back to those training wheels. We want the training wheels. We prefer the training wheels. This nice thing has to go, guys. It's the same thing as saying, well, the truth is somewhere in the middle. If two people are fighting and you hear someone say, oh, well, the truth is somewhere in the middle, what you're really doing is you're saying, hey, I would love for narcopathy, sociopathy, psychopathy to thrive in this world. And I'm going to do that by being apathetically nice, by saying the truth is somewhere in the middle. All you're doing is encouraging one person. Hey, if one of you wants victory over wisdom, all you have to do is stretch out your side so far that the middle is now where you originally were. That's the same kind of feeling as being nice. It's the same kind of falsities that stop us from finding compassion. Compassion is always burning calories. And you're always going to be burning calories when you're trying to steal fire or when you're trying to climb a mountain. You will never burn calories by laying down like a hedonist, asking for truth to be peeled like grapes for you, and getting mad at anyone who doesn't have compassion for you because you feel like compassion means being nice. You're not accomplishing anything here. You're going to stay a bud. You'll never sprout. And that's fine with me. I don't need you to sprout anymore. It's all right. It's such a weird world now, understanding everything that we've gone through, understanding what Lucifer is, understanding what all these things mean now compared to what they used to mean. It's a different world. You guys doing good in chat? Everybody looks... The sunbeam behind me? Hey, I'm all for that. All for the light. That's probably Lucifer shining his light through my sunbeam. Quick, someone cut that comment and we can use it to say he's secretly the devil. Symbolism is a protocol for recognition. This is pretty cool. So, every Mason in the world, if they study their stuff, has to have seen, because I don't study Masonry, and I've had some friends that have educated me about Building 7. The crashing of Building 7 is required in a Masonic ceremony. Between the two towers, there's a sacrifice, and that death is spent for something. For them to crash Building 7 was them telling all of us, anyone who's paying attention, to pay attention is to be initiated. One who pays attention has initiated into this secret society, this hermetical order, believe it or not, of the Golden Dawn. This is so freaky. So freaky that this is even happening. But your seeking of the answer is your initiation. I know I've covered this in past streams. I just want to convey that if you see Building 7 go down, what that really means is you're initiated. You welcome to the cult of conspiracy theory. You may now proceed to the next level. But on that first level, you're still thinking, okay, so this was all evil. Everyone did this as evil. Oh my gosh, they're evil because they're lying. That's budding your compassion. It's causing you to look at the compassion as to why everyone's lying in tandem, because that doesn't make sense. And this goes in my talk about pruning and how important pruning is. But on top of all that, I want you to realize that when you install symbolism, what you're really doing is creating this, it's like a protocol language. If you know what HTTP means on a web address, that's actually Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It's a system of communicating. And you can go to eBay with HTTP, and when you're there, you can type a search for unicorn and hit enter, and that sends a GET request. It's in your browser, it'll say $Q equals unicorn. That is a protocol. It's built into the HTTP language protocol. Additionally, you can post a form, like you could put a password in there, and then it won't show up in the address bar. It will be sent sort of secretly. It's actually not secret, but it's sort of a subterranean part of that protocol that comes in through a post request. When you talk on a CB, you have the same thing. You have a protocol. You say, yeah, Lucy, this is Jimmy. Do you read me over? And then she goes, yeah, I read you. And then you're like, Lucy, you have to say over. And then Lucy goes, over. And then you're like, no, you just say over once. And then she goes, oh, okay, got it. And then you're like, oh. How do I explain this to Lucy? These are protocols. And if you understand symbolism, you will see that symbolism is installing a protocol. And the reason why I'm saying that's important is because any Mason who's paying attention, and I don't think most of them are, I don't know the percentage actually, I'm just saying that I know that within any club, half the people are actually going to be there to be there. The other half are just going to be following, just kind of, oh, what's up? The people that are paying attention would have to have been able to see what I saw, that there are two towers and that the Building 7 was sacrificed. And what's interesting about that is everyone who has the Masonic ritual installed in their head would instantly start resonating with that symbolism. It's fascinating because it's a magic protocol. It's a protocol that's been built into you. Same with language. You've been taught to fear. So many of you have been taught to fear Masonic stuff. You call it evil. Someone yesterday claimed Ben Franklin was a pedophile, and I asked for proof, and they didn't have any. We're instantly fearing things like this. Just like evil, just like Lucifer. We're calling Prometheus a stealer of fire when he claimed it. These rituals have a resonance to them because we have the protocol installed, which means if you understand the Masonic ritual, if you were to walk into a mall and you were to see two towers in the central place, and in between the two towers is a box, you would understand that that box is representative of the coffin. You would just understand it. You would see it. You are initiated into a second level of communication. The non-initiated would see it as, oh, there's two posts here, and someone left a box here. And that's all it would mean. It's no different than the dollar bill. If you look at the back of the dollar bill, many of you will see a pyramid with an eye, and many more of you will see a pyramid in the eye, and then an upside down triangle that says the word Masons. or Mason. There's another level. After you see that and you recognize the word Mason, you see the upside down star, then you think, oh, it's evil. All of this is evil. Because you've decided that an upside down pentagram is only symbolic of evil, and therefore you must run away. That's what, second level, right? Yeah, first level is just $1. Second level, you see the word Mason, but you think it's evil. Third level, compassion. Why would they want me to be afraid of Mason ritual? Why would they want me to think that 9/11 was full of people? Why would they pretend to be hiding what they did, meanwhile making it as obvious as they can? Why? It's only when you ask compassion. So first of all, before you have compassion, the answer is simple. Because they're evil. Because they're evil, and that's what evil does. Evil does things. They lie to you all the time, except for about some things. And then they have to tell you the truth. Or they'll tell you, well, evil always has to get your consent. And my reaction is, well, that sounds nice. Like, what? If someone would only do something to you with your consent, that doesn't sound evil. That's dissonance. I'm wondering why. Why is there dissonance there? Well, they don't believe in God. Evil people don't believe in God, but they do follow God's laws. What the fuck? Why are you thinking that way? Are you sure you're thinking? Can you apply just a little bit of compassion for these people? No, because compassion is consent, James, and there's no way I can do that. Okay. Then it's probably best you think that I'm a pedophile, because that's all you can see right now is that binary, and that's okay. It's okay. I don't need you to see it. Compassion is this sprout, and it's got these branches that are awfully close to it. And I'm telling you, difference breeds compassion. And difference is really just another word for evil. Because all evil means is, I don't understand this, I want to put distance between me, I'm using the live spell backwards. Evil, 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 evil. That's all you're doing. It's just backing away from something you don't want to understand. You're calling it junk mail, and you'll never open the envelope. I get it. We all have calories to save. We were only going to burn our calories for certain things. Most of you are not willing to burn your calories for Lucifer. Who wants to walk out in public? Who wants to go to a potluck where there's a bunch of nice fucking Karens just waiting to burst? Just sitting there just like, I will fucking kill anybody I can because my sphincter is so tight. And then you come up and go, hey Karen, have you thought more about Lucifer? Like, maybe he's not so evil? What do you think Karen's going to do when you say that to her? All the strife that you have is energy for your sacrifice. It's the capacitor that you get to drain. And if you drain it right, you can use it to fuel your compassion. And your compassion will bud. Your lotus will open. The electric lotus. And it will open if you redirect all these sacrifices you have to make. One of the sacrifices is, I'm not going to be nice. I'm just going to call you a bitch right now. Because you're being a bitch. If you're going to do this, and then do this, and then do that, I think you're being a bitch. And frankly, I'm being nice is never going to help you. I'm being compassionate right now by calling you a bitch. It's confusing as hell. And some of you get to jump on that and go, well, James, you're using the word bitch. There's no reason why that would ever be called for. And I say, good on you. Good on you. Use what I did and plant that for your own compassion garden. Go, hey, I can be even more compassionate than James. Sure, James found a vista of compassion last week, but I can go higher. I can open my lotus even further. I can set base camp. I can see the summit if I get to where I think James is not. This should all be a beautiful contest. Beautiful. Not a victory, but a contest. Many of us are still locked in the idea that we have to reach enlightenment, and that's never going to happen. It's the same thing as falling for woke versus awakening. A lotus is awakening. A plastic lotus is woke. None of us are plastic lotuses. We're real, which means we're going to call people bitch. We're going to use words that you don't like. We're going to say things that you don't think are nice. And we're going to defend Karen sometimes. We're going to fucking defend Karen sometimes. We're going to look at Karen as she's freaking the fuck out and just nod our head and say it's okay. None of this is easy. There's not like a set rule where you have to be this nice or you have to be this whatever. As you tap into your energy, you're going to know what you need. You're going to know beforehand as it goes in, how's this going to go? Before I started this live stream, I had no idea how this was going to go. It was like, fuck, man, I hope I don't sound like I'm just bitching to everybody. I hope I don't sound like I'm too angry. I hope I don't sound like this. I hope I don't sound like that. And I realized I have to just sound. That's all I have to do. I have to just sound. And I can't be afraid if I'm sounding like a Karen or if I'm sounding like a raging hard-on guy in drama class with pimples everywhere. I just have to sound, because the more comfortable I am talking to you, the better my blossom's going to go. I think that's why I've been having audio problems the last couple of days. I keep thinking it's the microphone. I've taken off all microphones. I'm just trying this now. I'm just thinking maybe it's not that. Maybe it's this. And so maybe my audio is better. I won't even know. I'm going to check it after the show. We'll just find out. But it's part of that electrical current that I want to build up. That electrical current that allows me to open compassion even deeper next time. That's why we're here. I was going to tell you guys about Rockefeller, but I think I'll wait, only because it's a good topic and it's enough to stretch. There's like 4 generations of those dudes that need to be gone over. It's a lot of room for compassion. Believe it or not, Rockefeller, there's a lot of room for compassion for that family. I think you're looking at someone who was so bad, so twisted, and so lying that the hidden hand saw them and said, this is perfect, man. This will breed so much compassion. Let's give this family all the money in the world. Let's put a $3,000 increase on the price of oil on embargo, and let's give it all to this family. Wait, you mean the guy that's dad raped his housemaid and sold snake oil and had a couple families? Yeah, that guy. You mean the guy that's going to kill 66 people in Ludlow, Colorado on April 20th? Yeah, or we're going to make up that story. But yeah, either one. Yep, that guy. Let's keep giving him all the money and all the power. And let's watch him fall. We need to rock a feller. We need to rock a feller. Remember I told you there's different levels of initiation. If you see the back of the dollar bill, you can see it in 3 different ways. It's a dollar. It's an evil Masonic sign. It's a sign that's purposely having some satanic taint to it to make you fear it. It's giving you an opportunity to have compassion for something. Compassion's only going to come through in a cloud of fear or in a cloud of evil. It's the only way it's going to happen, because compassion requires you to have compassion for that. The reason why we keep starting all these wars and sending consenting adults into war is because we're trying to develop compassion for ourselves and for each other by doing evil. The more evil we can do, the more we can see it in other people and recognize it as something more than evil. You can look at the military right now and see the Zionism teeming through everyone and realize that that is giving them the excuse and the justification for all the evil in the world. And they're clinging the entire time to this version of it being God. Whether it be circumcision, whether it be vaccines, whether it be every 15 months we're bombing a foreign nation, whether it be that we just put a $15 million hit on the president of Venezuela's head. All of your taxes are going to pay for someone to be decapitated in real time who's trying to run his country. They're breeding compassion out of you whether you want it or not. Whether it's psychopathically driven or intentionally driven doesn't fucking matter. The second you realize that people who are tormenting you are doing you a favor, you can no longer be a victim. How the fuck do you be a victim if someone's doing you a favor? They want you to get up. They laugh at you because they want you to get up. They show you what you're doing so you'll see it and you'll get up. They don't want you to be nice. They don't want you to keep wandering around a nation of Karens. They want you to steal the fire. Don't you see? You're giving government all your sovereignty, and that's the flame. And they want you to steal it. And if you won't steal it, they're just going to keep holding the torch deeper out the window. And if you won't take that, they'll assemble it in a crowd of villagers, angry villagers, and they will bring that torch to your house, one after the other. Will you take the torch, Karen? Will you take the torch, James? Will you take the torch, Aaron? Will you take the torch? And if you don't take it this time, they'll throw it through the window. They'll throw it in your bed if they have to. The torch is coming. And you can either take it as Prometheus, or you can keep saying it's evil and that you got to run away, run away, run away. And you can clench that sphincter tighter than 6 Karens. The power of 6 Karens is inside you, squeezing that sphincter so hard. Or you can let go. Drop the thin skin, the thick skin. Just be human. Be sonar. And when you watch Karen go off, understand how hard it is for Karen to release her sphincter. How hard that is for all of us. Because we've been trained since day one. I don't have a boner. I don't. It's not, no. It's not it. We are so much potential waiting. It's already happening. This is the greatest apocalypse ever. I think I covered all that. I think we're probably good, guys. I have a Veritas radio show today. I'll be doing that. And hey, I got some super chats in. Thanks, guys. Sorry about that. I am. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that. Appreciate the truth you speak. Keep crushing. Thank you, Holly. I am loving the crush. I'm loving the crush. This is freaking awesome. I love how well this apocalypse is going. I love every day of it, from Karens to boners. It's all great, man. Yep. Don't be a plastic lotus, Ceiling Fan. Ceiling Fan, I was really moved by your stuff lately. I recommend everybody give that man a woohoo, good energy. Humanity is not a virus. Guys, thanks a lot. Enjoy the show. Enjoy your day. Thanks for watching my show. Really appreciate it. And hey, if you don't mind, maybe tell me how the audio was. I've been trying to project my voice better so that I have a good audio quality. I'm trying to eliminate the background noise. And I think as I get more confident, it sounds hot. Oh, Karen sounds hot. Yeah. Imagine how hot Karen would be if it like instead of her blowing up on somebody, she could just get a good old dickin', like a real good, nice root, just releasing of energy. It's just, how cool would that be? All of us need our root. All of us do. And I probably should have ended before I said that. Thanks, guys.